And guys, welcome back to the show. We have today Amrinder and Miguel from Money Monday. Let's go!
All right, we're live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh Air Podcast, man. Regular edition is Money Monday. We got some special guests in the house. Do we have any chats to get into, or right away? Or
I think we're good to go. But this is the best show we do, Money Mondays, man. Business, finances, and personal development. But without further ado, welcome to the show. We know who you are, but they may not. So, Amrinder.
Thanks for having us, Fresh and Fit. My name is Amrinder Kamboj. I'm the CEO and founder of Kamboj Ventures. This is my right-hand guy, Miguel Barbosa. We've known each other since, what?
14,
15 years old, you know, and then when I had the GNCs, he started working for me. Then he moved to Arizona. And then after that, when it came to the e-commerce, he asked me a couple of questions, and I tried to help his brand out, but he was busy with some other things. And then after that, I acquired his store. From there, it was like, I think 2 or 3 months later or something like that.
Yeah, about 3 months
We blew
later.
that store up, and I showed him the screenshot. He's like, dude, I want in. And then I flew to Phoenix, and then we started talking and everything. And then ever since then, he's like, dude, I'm quitting my job. This is what I want to do. And then from there, we just blew it up from there, you know.
Straight Wolf of Wall Street moment, bro. He flew in. He was like, hey, I want to show you what your store's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I 10x'd it. I was like, you show me that 10x. I was like, I'll quit my job right now. And yeah, here we are 2 years later.
So, question, if I'm just want to confirm, you've done over $300 million plus in sales?
In revenue, yeah, with all the companies put together. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money.
So we're in what? Canada, U.S., London, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, Dubai.
We're doing some work with King of Ghana.
We're
couple
doing some
projects down
stuff
in
in
South
the health
Africa.
stuff in, what is it? Was it Uganda?
Uganda.
Was it? Yeah, so we got a lot of things going on.
So just for the audience, for them to learn and understand really what you do, can you go in more detail what you do for business?
Yeah. So our main business started in 2018 when it came with e-commerce, you know, selling products online, Shopify, creating our own brands and everything. And then from there, we stemmed into more of the warehousing. Then we went to financing. Then we went to business coaching, because a lot of what happened was a lot of our investors, they were like small to medium business owners. So then when we started growing, they started asking me questions. So I'll give them feedback, right? And then one guy comes up to me, I think 2021 or 2022, I can't recall. And he goes, hey, look, Ami, you've scaled a lot of businesses. You're doing phenomenal. I don't know anybody else in the area that's done this, right? I want to start this new company, and it was an HVAC company. Can you help me, rather than me trial and error and kind of doing it by myself? Can you help me do this?
Right.
So like, all right, fine. So then he was like, I'll pay you. And I'm like, dude, like, we'll figure that out later, but let's just see what it is. And then from there, you know, just create a whole business plan, brought my business strategist, my marketing team, and XYZ. We spent like a week doing all the stuff. From there, that's where the thing started of helping other business owners, coaching. And then from there, it was beneficial for us, because then we started partnering with a lot of people too. You know, so we started partnering with a lot of HVAC companies, car wash companies. So we were either bringing the capital, the strategies, whatever was needed, if it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because not every business that we can just plug and play type of thing. You know, it has to make sense. Because what I'm trying to say, what it has to make sense is I have to be able to bring the value onto the table.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like me, I don't know the podcast world. So there's no point in me partnering up with Fresh and Fit.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, but in other certain areas, we can.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And Miguel, what do you do for the company?
So my actual role itself is VP of Sales. But just because of the rate that we're moving, I do podcasts too now, apparently.
There you go.
I do a lot of the business relationships as well. So whenever there is a strategic partnership that makes sense, what I do is I'm the first line. So I'll sit down, I'll have the meeting, I'll discuss the business, we'll go over the financials and see if there is any value that we can bring to the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it moves up the chain upwards to Amrinder. And then from there, we finalize a contract, partnership, whatever that looks like.
So recently we saw in the actual news cycle a CEO caught on camera at a Coldplay event, right? So listen, I know you're a CEO, yourself. What's your take on that, bro? Because that was crazy. He got caught and stepped down immediately after from his board, I guess. But like, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
There's two different things that I'm thinking of, man.
Yeah.
One is, okay, is it
And
cool?
You're married too, right?
Yeah.
There you
So is it cool to dip into somebody's privacy? Okay, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then was it earlier today that you were saying you saw something, you read something about like the wife renew or something like that?
Yeah, so I had, again, TikTok conspiracy. So I had actually seen something that supposedly the wife had already knew that this guy had been cheating for some time. And it was a whole setup to where, she knew that he was going to be there. He knew that he was going to be there with the woman he was having an affair with. And basically, long story short, she basically played it out to where he would be caught on camera. Because at the end of the day, the other girl that was there, she, again, allegedly, would be the next one up in line to take over, an HR position or some sort of manager position if the CEO and then the head of HR were to step down. And then obviously the wife ends up with half, how that goes. But again, just rabbit hole.
So you think it was planned?
It could be. It sounds like it, right? But then the other thing is like, okay, if you're CEO of this big company, right? Why are you being a dumbass doing this publicly?
Publicly.
Like box seats and everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like just mix in the crowd or some shit. Figure that shit out. But why would you publicly do that stuff?
Okay, it's a question. I'm not saying it's you, but if that were you and you were the guy that got caught, would you step down or what would you do?
Step down for
Remember,
the company?
He stepped away from it, yeah.
Yeah, there's no point. That has to do nothing with your business, though. Does that make sense? That has to do nothing with your business.
I agree.
That's your personal life. This is what I've noticed, Walter. What happens is you got to distinguish between personal and business, right? And there's a lot of people that say out there work-life balance. There's no such thing as work-life balance, right? Your work becomes your life balance, right?
100%.
That's how it works. So if you have a lady, she needs to know that whatever happens in the business, you got kids or whatever the hell is, and I see this a lot, right? Women start freaking out, oh, you're traveling, you're doing this and all kinds of stuff, but they forget is that the guy is sacrificing his time with his family and kids so you can freaking go to sleep and be okay. You have the nice car and all that kind of stuff because of this guy sacrificing all that stuff.
100%.
Right?
Yep.
And then the other thing is too is like you have to understand like when it comes to that, why would you dip out? It's not like you did anything wrong for the company. It has to do nothing with the damn company. Yeah, sure, she was your HR manager and all that kind of stuff. That's another stupid thing to do, right? But it's just like you shouldn't step down just because you did that, because we don't know what happened in his personal life. Maybe him and his wife, they weren't getting along, but he had some emotional relationship because of this woman, and she was propelling him to become a better person. We don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I shouldn't have stepped down.
Yeah,
That was fucking pussy for him to step down.
I agree.
Yeah.
But was it the board or was it him? I'm confused.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
There might have been some pressure. Hey, investors are pissed off.
But Myra, let me
been.
ask you this though. Miguel was telling me is after that happened, how many percent increase was there of views of the company?
So I don't know the exact percentage because I don't want to get quoted on it, but I know that their actual search via Google had went up tremendously. So people that didn't know the actual company, for instance, like myself, I didn't know who Astronomer was or whatever the company was.
Nobody knew.
Nobody
Yeah,
knew.
nobody
No,
knew.
Yeah.
fuck is that
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah, I had no clue.
But then you start running up, like after this whole scandal, all
Yeah.
the Google searches, who's Andy, who's this company, everything like that. And then, I mean, shit, like from what I've read that investors haven't pulled money whatsoever. Yeah, is the
So
integrity
then
being
I asked when
questioned?
Miguel said that during lunch, I asked him, I was like, Miguel, so let me ask you this. Do you think it has to do something what's more of like a play to be competition? Because think about it, it's more eyeballs in the thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that like what I've realized is like normies just can't deal with attention on the internet. Like the average person, nobody gives a fuck about their life. Nobody cares. They're able to live fairly private, right? As someone who might be an influencer is on camera more on the internet, we're used to getting attention. Is what we're supposed to do. But like regular people are not used to that. And then not only getting attention, but a lot of negative attention. They don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like this guy's older, probably doesn't even know how Instagram works, barely knows. People are DMing him, you're a cheater, you're a blah, blah. He's probably losing his mind, like, oh my God, what do I do?
True.
Because like, it's always funny because like, I've had a couple buddies that like, they want to get into the internet and do content. And then they'll make their first viral video and they don't know how to fucking deal with it. Remember Casey?
Yeah.
When he went viral
Can he
the first
handle
time?
the heat?
He couldn't handle it. It was like, oh my God, why am I getting so much? Like a lot of people, everyone wants to be famous, but they don't want to deal with the problems that come with being famous.
Yeah.
Which is like, criticism for people you don't know, getting attacked all the time.
AKA Nut Boys.
Well, yeah.
Undertaker belt.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, they're not used to to this level. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just say that because my assumption is, you know what? If this happens at this scale and they get many searches for their business, shit, any amount of scandal. What the fuck? Like, at least, you know what? To get attention,
Yeah.
that's another way to get attention.
I thought the only reason he probably resigned is because like they're like, yo, investors are going to pull out or you're hurting the brand.
Yeah.
That I think it was more from a business perspective. But if you're saying nobody even pulled out, then he's just a bitch. Then that
Yeah.
makes it even worse for him.
Yeah.
Why walk away for nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes zero sense to me.
So listen, I want to know for the audience here. Let's say someone's 21 years old. They want to get into business. How should they start?
The main thing where a lot of people they're lagging is, like I was saying off camera as well too, it's AI technology right now, right? I've seen there's a company called I think it's called Cluey. So we're doing research on this company. It's a 20-year-old, 21-year-old developer, and he created this company where basically you have it on your Google Chrome and it listens to you and it'll give you feedback. So let's just say if you and I were doing an interview and I can click on there, what's a follow-up question on this, right? So Fresh is saying something, what's a follow-up question on this? And it'll give you good feedback. Say this, try this, try this. So a lot of companies, they used it for pretty much interviewing too.
Really?
And then a lot of people who are giving interviews in their jobs, they have it also. They sound smart, and you can't even tell if it's on or not. But what I'm trying to say is that guy who created it he quit college.
He's 21.
He's 20 or 21 years old, bro. Right, and the company's doing phenomenal. Every single every single one that's in the company is very young. It's either a developer or it's someone who has no business experience, but it's just developing and testing. That's all it is, right? And then it goes back to, so we're doing some research and we're debating. We do a lot of case studies in our company, right? So I was like, so what do you think about this company? Oh, it's phenomenal, XYZ. But I was like, do you guys remember the companies called American Apparel back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day.
American Apparel, okay?
Yeah.
Why did American Apparel go down?
They got bought out?
No. They had to shut down. Why? Because the company had no business person in the company. They had this one crazy guy who's really good at building brands. But there's a thing called SOPs, KPIs, HR, all that kind of stuff. Legal stuff. Compliance is a big thing, right? He didn't follow any of that. The dude was freaking butt naked just walking around his factory.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. What I'm trying to say is how far is this company going to go if there's no business type of guy who's not a strategy type of guy?
Right. You need that.
You
That's where
need
that
that no matter
partnership
what.
comes in.
As you're going, imagine if you get to a company, it's easy going from 0 to, let's just say, 1 million. Then 1 to 5 million is a different strategy. It's what are you doing? And then it's who? And then how? And then when you get to 25 to 50, it's again, it repeats, but then your leadership board teams changes. Right? And then when you get to the point where you're like 75 and a million, that's when everything changes. That's when your HR changes, your complete structure of things changes. Now you have leaders who are managing other teams and then other teams and other teams and other teams. And then nowadays, since we have a lot of technology, we're able to, use a lot of VAs from across the world. It makes it a lot easier for us to spread and grow our companies a lot further. But if somebody who's 20 or 21 years old and doesn't have that experience, imagine how many mistakes they're going to do when they get that money coming in quick.
Blow it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're just developers. They're not business guys. Right? And what do I always say about engineers and developers, why I don't like them? They're never going to be successful business people.
Because they're
Why?
not business people.
Yeah.
They're too
Then
analytical.
why? Because they want the perfect product. In business, there's no perfect product. If there's a perfect product, why are we on iPhone 17 that's about to be released? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good
So you need an innovator and you need a business person to do that, and you need a developer to do all that stuff. But the business person is going to tell the developer or engineer to push the product, and you just keep renovating it.
It's better to put a subpar product at a perfect time than to put a perfect product out at a shitty time.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then the other thing is, too, business, they don't give a shit about the perfect product. Or they think about revenue and profits. That's it. That's how you grow a company. Revenue and profits at the end of the day. Because if you don't got profits generating, how are we going to continue to improve the product?
I agree.
Not only that, too. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Walter. But one of the biggest things that we talk about, too, when it comes to customers and acquiring a customer. So, like, for instance, we were just talking about this right now. When it comes to a podcast, people want to come back and watch over and over and over and over again. How do you retarget that customer over and over and over again, right? iPhone. You buy the iPhone 15, a new one comes out, you purchase that one. The 17's going to come out, you're going to upgrade again. Once you get a customer, it's how many times can we sell to this customer?
Yeah,
I need to buy a pair of
customer value.
AirPods. I need a charger. Like, why is it that for the longest time you could only get an Apple charger for your cell phone when everything else was universal? It's how can you repurpose and how can you retarget that same customer over and over and over to get as much revenue out of them as possible?
That's a good point.
That's the other thing too. Is what what we build in our company is an ecosystem. We use the Apple theory. Think about it. Once you buy an Apple product, you're not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
You got an iPhone, you got an iPad, you got an AirPod, you got a MacBook, right? Everything's Apple product. Why? They're geniuses, and I don't know why.
They sync up together too.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the whole beauty of it. It's easy, bro. Right? So now think about it. All these companies that are out there, from small, medium, and large, right? Why are we creating other horizontals and verticals in the company, adding more stuff so the customer lifetime value increases?
Good point.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole thing.
So you're saying, in a nutshell, learn AI when you're young.
Correct.
If you can't get a partnership, and learn a system to create ecosystems that they could join in and stay a part of your
Correct.
system.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then find a mentor who's already done it and do whatever it takes to learn from him. Right? It's either, dude, this was last year. There's a guy, he came to our conference in Cabo, and I come back. Okay, this is literally last year, bro. We're already doing $300-something million. And I'm talking to him and everything. I'm like, dude, okay, shit. He's a board member of fucking 26 goddamn companies. Goddamn, I'm only a board member of 10 companies. He's been in the game for a very long time. So you know what I did? I called him. I was like, hey, bro, I had a great time conversation and I learned a lot from you. Right? Okay. I want to be in your office and wherever you go for 30 days, and I'll pay you whatever it takes. So why?
Hey, yo, pause.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
And then he said, but why? Right? And then I said, look, bro, you're a board member of so many different companies, and you acquired a lot of companies. You skilled a lot of companies, right? I want to learn every single thing, what type of conversations you're having, whatever you're doing. Obviously, you're doing something right. I want to learn from that. What I'm trying to say, what the point I'm trying to make is, I want to get to that level, right? So you always got to be learning no matter what happens.
Can't stop.
You can't stop. And that's what I've noticed a lot of people nowadays, they stop freaking learning. So look at me. I can afford him to pay him, or I said, dude, I'll work for a company for 30 damn days and put my company on pause because I'm going to learn something, bring that back to my company, and my company's value is going to increase. I only need to learn 1 to 3 things, you know? And then from there, boom, boom, watch what happens. But that's what a lot of people, they don't do.
Have you seen Ashton Hall's video, his morning routine? Guy.
No, I haven't, honestly, besides the whole water cold thing.
Yeah, Saratoga. So his routine is funny, of course, but every person has a routine. What's your routine?
So I wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock. Okay, and the first thing I do is I make my little water drink and all kind of stuff to get the sunlight. And then after I do red light therapy. And then what I try to do is for at least 30 to 20 minutes, close my eyes and just meditate. And it's important because we're talking to so many people, we're doing so many different things. We forget to reflect on ourselves as who we really are. You want to talk to yourself, and it's really important because you want to know yourself before you start helping other people out. No?
Good point.
Right? So then after that, yeah, I just get charged up. My son's there, wake him up, get him ready and all kind of stuff, get charged up. And on my way to work, I usually listen to a podcast or make some of my high phone calls, which I know are going to lift up my energy and everything. Boom, get into the office and we're going. And then after that, obviously towards the end of the day, go get a little workout in 1 hour, hour and a half. Sometimes I'll be like at the gym training, but then I'll call Miguel. We're discussing a business or something like that as I'm still training, but I'm doing 2 things at once, trying to be productive as possible. We all have 24 hours, right? But the theory I like to use is in the 24 hours, how come Elon Musk is able to do so many other things and he runs the most top successful companies in the world? Why is that? He's just more productive than we are. He utilizes his time more efficiently, doesn't he?
He actually doesn't. He has a lot of people that he hires, but that's fine. Elon Musk is a fucking loser, but that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, like he's fucking banned me and shit like that. But he just has a bunch of other people do it for him. But here's the thing, that's a good business technique.
Yeah,
you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You leverage, H-1B visa people, and you leverage other people and steal their shit and just claim it as your own. That's what he does.
Yeah,
work smart, not hard.
Yeah, exactly. But it works for him.
Yeah, no, it works because he was able to build a business on using other people's talents and then claims all the credit, which is still a genius move.
Yeah.
So
Bill Gates as well.
Yeah, Bill Gates. Yeah. So he got me in trouble on Twitter. So I don't like Elon too much.
It's personal with
yeah, bro. This dude's a hater.
Mine's getting all fired up.
Yeah, fucking guy, man. But yeah, sorry.
It's okay. So I guess with the routine, that's one thing. But let's say someone watching here, because you guys are young, coming up, they want to make money as well. Obviously, learn from a mentor. Other than obviously getting into the business world, what can they do to kind of like, accelerate this growth in business, you would say?
First thing is, I don't see a lot of people reading a lot of books, right?
Mhm.
They do not. That's the information right there, man. You know, there's so many good books out there, like Patrick Davis, Your Next Five Moves. You know, if you don't know what you're going to do for the next 5 years, what I like to say is like a man is the most dangerous man is the one who's disciplined, determined, and knows exactly where he wants to go. Right. So that's why I ask everybody is what's your 5 year plan? If you don't know your 5 year plan, then how are you supposed to know what direction you want to go? So anybody that wants to partner with me or work with me, I always ask the question, we create a 5 year plan, then we go from there. Right. So for us, it's like if you're becoming a lawyer or something or a doctor or something like that, and you can't even work and you want to work with us, what's the point? You're going to waste our time. Does that make sense? It doesn't integrate with us. And then from there, yeah, so definitely focus on the 5 year plan. Start reading the books according to what you want to do. And just start reading more podcasts, listen to podcasts and everything. Cut the bullshit of having bad friends. You know, that's another thing. A lot of people have shittier friends.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the hardest thing to do. I mean, I let go of majority of my family, even my parents too, for almost like 2 years to stop talking to them because they were bringing so much negativity on the table every single time I would try to do something. Right. But I had to do that to get to the next level. You know, and then yeah, from there it's just learning and just having a mentor and just following them what they do. You know, model and mimic is one of the most successful things on planet Earth.
Good point. All right, listen to chats real quick. Take a little break here. Yeah, PPD's a person, guys. Patch up at David.
Yeah, of course. You don't know who he is?
They
That's a
say-
compliment. They know who he is.
What the heck? But that is some good advice, though, bro. All right. There we go.
What happened? Oh, we got a black screen? Oh, okay.
We got Livia Adams says, you're fresh. I was listening to your stream the other day, and when that woman started attacking, I thought you were getting violated. Come on, nigga. Turns out she was attacking Mr. Orgasm. Organism? Bro, you were like, wait, stop. What are you doing? Just sounded like it was straight out of a
he was listening
hentai.
to an audio. He wasn't
'cause
watching.
He didn't watch it.
He thought she was
yeah.
attacking. Okay.
No, she threw some stuff at Organic. He dodged it, of course. Black Neo. And it went viral. 30 million views. Let's fucking go. All right, who's next? Oh, cool. All right, so let's say someone's watching here and they want to work with you personally. E-commerce, other businesses. How good would they get started?
How would they get started? Miguel, you chime in. How about that?
Yeah, so one of the first things is just like with the whole business relationship side of things, right? So we're a very tight circle in regards to how we operate. We have certain standards that we follow. And just in regards to the growth, we want to make sure that it's solid people that are joining the team. One of the worst things that you can have is turnover, right? And one of our ultimate goals is always having someone, you know, to be essentially a lifetime member of whatever it is, right? Whether it's a company, whether it's, you know, it's a group, whether it's, you know, whatever you want to call it. So one of the biggest things that we do is a vetting process. So again, whether that's reaching out to someone like myself or someone else on the team that's also like an executive, whatever that may look like, something as easy as sending a DM. Right. Hey, you know, like I see what you guys are doing. You know, I'm located in Northern California. I'm in Arizona. Hey, I'm in the Arizona, you know, area. Can we sit down? Can we have dinner? Can we have a Zoom call? Like showing effort, showing initiative.
Right.
Like I can tell you right now, the majority of our deals that we've ever closed, I would say probably 70, 80% of them have always been in person. Why? Because it shows effort. Like I would rather come and meet someone in person, shake their hand and say, hey, this is what I can bring to the table. How can we collaborate? So one of the biggest thing is obviously making that outreach, but also showing initiative. Because if you just send a DM or don't follow up,
Lazy.
Yeah, we have one kid. I kid you not. He just turned 18 in February. His name's Eric. Shout out to Eric. He came up to us at a gas station, literally in a gas station. He was wearing sweats and a baggy ass shirt, and he says, "Hey," he was like, "What do you guys do?" Because we pulled up and all of our cars, his Rolls Royce, Ferraris, Porsches, all this different stuff, right? And there's this kid here.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck do you guys do?"
Of course.
And again, he was like, I apologize. He was like, I'm in sweats. He was like, I'm in a baggy shirt. He was like, but I couldn't let this opportunity pass. So I grabbed his number and I'm like, okay, cool. You know, it's a 17-year-old kid. He's a hustler. He told me everything that he was doing. I was like, follow up with me. Next week, what does he do? Follows up. I send him 2 or 3 different videos. I say, hey, learn about this, learn about taxes, learn about this code, learn about, you know, how to read credit reports. Do that, come back. Something easy, right? 2, 3 days later, he hits me back. Hey, I learned all this. What's next? I'm like, okay, learn about e-commerce. Learn the difference between FBA versus FBM. 2, 3 days later, he hits me up. Okay, cool. What's next? I'm like, all right, let's get on a phone call. So we get on a phone call. I'm like, hey, I'm flying out to California next week. Let's meet up. We go out. We have dinner. We start talking. I'm like, hey, like, this is what we're looking to do. Like, is that something that you're wanting to do? And he goes, bro, I'm still in high school. I graduated in February, but yeah. And yeah, pretty much from the time that he was 17 in December of this last year, all the way up until February. He started working with us prior to him actually graduating.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And again, it was all initiative. He followed up. He did the homework. He was showing that he was willing to. We weren't paying him the first 3 months, right? Just like how he was saying, it takes money to make money, right?
100%.
You got to pay to play. Sometimes if you don't have the money, okay, well, what can I use instead of my money?
Your time.
Your effort, your time.
So I had one of my students ask about getting funding for his e-commerce business. How does somebody go about that way?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Funding for e-commerce.
Oh, there's multiple different ways, man. There was a credit card leveraging. You can get banks from, money from the banks. Depends. If you have collateral in the business, obviously, it's easier for you to get funding. And a lot of banks, what we're noticing now is, and majority of the, depending on the industry, right, especially the e-commerce, since technology is, you're able to get a lot of funding. They're supporting that. Now, if you're in the retail space, right, you're not getting as much funding. Obviously, you know that.
Really?
Yeah. The reason for that is, like, look at where retail is really going. Like for me too, when I had the GNCs, it's hard. So the way my business started was when I had the GNCs, I had 2 locations, and COVID kind of messed that up. But luckily in 2018, we had the e-commerce and that blew up. So then basically when I started the e-commerce was, okay, I have this location over here with a population of 200,000 people in there. Okay. Fitness enthusiastic, let's just say 10%. Okay. So let's just random number, 50,000 people might be fitness enthusiastic. From there, maybe 1,000 people are going to buy supplements that are going to be local. Okay. From there, maybe 500 people are going to come to me. Okay. But then you take a broad scope of e-commerce and you got what? 328 million people shopping daily.
Yeah.
You have a bigger scope. Even if you just target 1%, that's a lot.
A whole lot.
Yeah. So so that's what put me in a perspective like, oh shit. And banks see that as well too. But then they also see like what type of entity structure you have as well. So it's like having the right documentation, an office, a 1-800 number, website, all that kind of stuff. So we see those kind of files because one of our companies called Kamboj Capital Solution, and he's a master at that. And we see files coming in all the time, and it's just little tweaks of the way entity is structured and everything. It determines what kind of a funding you can get.
Yeah.
But easily when it comes to e-commerce, you can get very low rates, $300,000 to $400,000, $5,000. If not, why don't you find somebody who's looking to invest and make them some type of an equity deal or some type of a play where you'll return a principal or XYZ. A little bit higher risk for the investor side, but a lot of investors are doing that.
So how should they structure it to get a, I don't know, 100K loan, you would say?
What do you think, Leo? It's not hard at all.
No, not at all. So basically to get 100K, just depending on, who you're utilizing, a lot of the times there's certain companies, and obviously it's one of those things where you have to vet the companies out. There's a lot of people, on social media saying, you can walk in a Chase and get, $50,000 to $100,000 cash. Bullshit. Like, it doesn't work like that, right? In a way, yes, but there's a structure that has to go along, right? So if you vet out a company, if you do your research, obviously, again, you can't expect to just, get $100,000 appear out of nowhere, right? You got to do some research, see what you need, see what type of entity is being loaned, higher amounts, lower interest, whatever that case may be, and then just go from there. Again, there's companies, not just ours, you can go with, company X, Y, or Z and try to get $100,000, $200,000, and you're looking at maybe a $5,000 to $20,000 upfront fee, and then typically there's what's called a success fee. So if, for instance, there's a company charging a 10% success fee, I want to get $100,000, right? Company helps you get $100,000, you pay 10% of whatever's funded. So say you do complete that $100,000, you're going to pay a $10,000 fee from that credit card. But again, nothing's coming out of your pocket. So again, it's just how can you get that access to that capital, and how can you leverage it, and how can you make sure that you put it somewhere to make sure you're able to pay it back? Because that's one of the biggest things too,
Paying it back.
right? You can go and you can get $100,000, but again, they're not gifting you that to you. It's not a grant. It's not a Christmas present. You got to pay that back. And then also too, you got to find a way and be strategic, like how you was saying, know your next moves. Okay, hey, I got $100,000 on 2 or 3 different credit cards, right, at a 0% interest for 12 months. Okay, what am I going to do before those 12 months to make sure I pay that back and everything doesn't fall back onto me? Because then from there, that could start to set you back. You can be making money, but if you're not being smart and you're wanting to take it, be greedy, and not follow the long-term play, what's going to bite you in the ass in the long run?
And that's why I was saying that rather than starting a brand new business, acquiring a business is better. Why? Because there's history backed up to it. Right? You can track the metrics. You can track the metrics as far as like what they've done in the past, what they're about to do in the future, and then from there you can determine where to pivot and what are the bottlenecks are, fix those, and see where it goes.
I know Bradley buys companies a lot. You know Bradley?
Yeah. I did we know. Yeah.
So you're saying it's better to acquire than start from scratch, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So let's talk about investing in assets like crypto, real estate. What do you guys invest in?
I love real estate. You know, everybody loves real estate. Think about it. It's, you know, it's one of those things. God only made so much land, you know? So crypto, it's kind of like I don't know. We're trying to we're getting it, but okay, so recently I did a podcast and then he asked me the same question. What do you think about crypto? I think there's two sides of crypto. There's the bottom layer and then there's the top layer. So we're partnering up with this one company where the minimum investment with them is about, I think like $20 million or $30 million. And you're literally controlling the whole chain or something like that. Right. And then there's other guys that are just doing, what are the apps that are in crypto?
Like crypto.com,
Coinbase.
Coinbase.
Like Coinbase, like you're in Shiba Inu or something like that. You're just doing a couple $100 and all that kind of stuff. But my biggest advice to the guys that are investing in the crypto world is make sure that money is one of those. It's kind of like stock market. It's just like, it's your play money.
Right.
It's gambling in a way.
Yeah.
Right. You got to learn how to strategically gamble. So if you lose the money, there's a lot of people that have noticed that they're 9 to 5. They save up a couple, let's just say $5,000 to $10,000. They dump it into crypto, and then when it goes down, they're freaking the shit out because that was their retirement. Like that's happened to one of your friends, right?
Yeah, close to about almost $1 million. Yeah. He was at $980,000. He wanted to invest with us, and he had said that he wanted to hit that 1 million mark before he invested with us. That was back when,
almost a year ago, I think.
Yeah, probably about a year ago. Last year in June.
Yeah,
June, July.
Yeah.
He went all the way down. I think he was left with like $23,000. Still, till this day, crawling himself out of that hole.
Crazy.
He should have bought the course. Crypto course. Charlie Miguel.
See, that's the thing.
He probably bought some altcoins.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, bro. It's like, that's what I'm saying. You got to be very careful where you get your information as well, too. You know?
100%.
You know, there are, like you said, the courses, too. There are a lot of courses, but they just buy one course. They go based off that. Why don't we get like 4 or 5 different courses and then go based off of the best information that you think it is, and then go based off of that?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's smarter.
Because the majority of the courses, what happens is they're just going to give you the little things so they can sell you more. But let's just buy 5 or 6 different courses and see the different strategies and see which strategy you think is going to work the best. You know?
Right.
And that's the same thing with business.
From your experience, I guess, for example, people's mistakes. What's the biggest mistake people make in business, you would say, starting out?
Oh, man, the biggest mistake I've ever made was partnering up with the wrong people. You know, this was back when I was 20 years old when I got my first business at GNC. So this is a former guy that I worked with. And, yeah, so we opened up a location, and then I was working my ass off there, XYZ. He was the one pretty much telling everybody, like, he's the boss of the shop, but we're 50-50. That's the other thing, is when you're partnering up with someone, you have to see who's doing more in the business and then make the partnership off that, because capital can be brought from anywhere, right? For some amount of work and that's put in there. So a deal like that would be, rather than being 50-50, should have been where I've got more of the equity because I was in there every single day. I mean, shit, I remember when we first got it, it was a brand new location, and I was working there literally for I think 8 or 9 months from open to close. No haircut, no nothing. And I remember 2 times calling him, like, bro, can you just watch the shop for 30 minutes so I can go get a haircut? Next door was a freaking, not even like a women's salon, you know, just so I can get a freaking haircut, you know? But what I'm trying to say is, like, partnerships is the biggest thing that matter in your business, because that can literally break your business, make your business, whatever it is. Even if you're a couple and you go 50-50, it usually doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to learn how to navigate those situations as well too. Like, how do you structure them? How do you legally structure them? Do you have a trust? Do you have a holding company? You know what? You know, how's the money flowing? You know, how are you dividing the dividends? You know, how are you doing all that? Are you paying salary? Are you not? Who's taking care of the employees? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? A lot of couples, man, they get in arguments because of that. You know, like the whole CEO thing that we were talking about, the whole cheating guy. Maybe there were partnerships. We don't know. The husband and wife. We don't know.
That's true. We don't know.
You know? So, yeah, so partnerships is the biggest thing. And the biggest believer that I have is 50-50 never works. I've never seen a successful 50% partnership. Impossible. Especially if it's 2 brothers or friends. It's very hard. The other thing is, too, having standards in business of what you stand for. You know, your non-negotiables, like they say. You know, like what are some of the things, like your 10? So whenever I do business with somebody, I always say, hey, these are my 10 non-negotiables. What are your 10 non-negotiables? Like, one of the things is if there's 3 partners, right? Let's just say you, me, and Miguel. If there's 3 partners in a business, you can't have a conversation, and it has to be in person. No phones, no Zoom call, no text message. And the reason for that is, when you have the emotions in person are a lot different than phone calls, text messages, and Zoom calls, right? You have to learn how to read people. because you might be saying something on the phone or something like that. But if when I'm in person, I can read you if you're nervous or not.
And then on top of that too, you and I can have a conversation behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And agree on something, and then
But then if I'm not there, that's not fair for me.
It turns into a he said, she said.
Yeah.
But if we're all there and we're all on the same page, things
Yeah.
move a lot.
So what I'm trying to say is, when you have the non-negotiables, we write all of our non-negotiables, and there's a separate document that I have. I call it the Declaration of Business, right? And so we put all of our, what are our non-negotiables, and we sign that shit, and then we get into business. So what I'm saying is, you're putting standards of everybody agreed to this before we do anything. And then from there, you have quarterly meetings, then you have monthly meetings, and there's some meetings that you have to do between your partners, some meetings you have to do between your employees. And you got to understand that thin, fine line,
That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Awesome. All right. Any more chats, Bills? Cool. Musa says, "Hey, brother. At this point, it's very difficult for us to believe people in suits." You want to respond to him?
Shit, man. We just like to be fresh and fit.
There you go.
All right, I just opened an e-commerce store making about $1K a week as a side hustle running organic ads. If I were to run paid ads, where would you suggest?
TikTok all day. TikTok all day. TikTok
Really?
is blowing up like crazy. So I don't know who you are and where you're running your platform. Is it Shopify, whatever it is? Try to get whatever you are and try to monetize it in multiple different locations like TikTok Shop, and then also running your ads on TikTok. We've seen a huge increase from Instagram, Facebook, and Google ads and TikTok. TikTok has been performing big time. TikTok Lives too.
And then just to add to that too, like I was talking about earlier, just retargeting those people. Obviously, if someone's purchasing from you, retargeting them, creating, having a system or a CRM where you're able to track all of your customers, and then retargeting them. You have a new product that you're starting to sell or anything like that. Boom, offer them a promotion. Hey, you purchased this item, leave me a review for a discount, retarget them, go over and over and over, because at that point, you're not having to actually pay for leads or for more customers or, any type of ads. You're just able to repurpose those same customers.
Good point.
All right. What else? I can't see it first. You got it.
We got Freeology. Says, "Hey, Myron, you guys know about OSS on local TV?"
Shit. You know what? I'll message him right now.
All right, that's it? That's it. Cool. All right, so another question from me here. So let's say someone's done all this. They've worked on themselves. They've gone to business. They're doing pretty well. How do they scale up to see where they're at? How would they scale up, you would say?
Scaling up has to do a lot, man. It has to do majority with your team. You can't put what I see in business owners is they try to do everything by themselves. Scaling is all about having the right people in your team, and then knowing who to put on your table is the biggest thing. So same thing with me too. Like we have an operation in Dubai, right? I'm sitting here, but the operation is running in Dubai and the Philippines. We have e-commerce running there, but I have strategic partners doing all that, and I trust them, and then we're just working great off of that. It gets to the point where you get to a certain revenue where you have to, as a CEO, you're just a visionary and the growth guy like I am right now. And then I have executors like Miguel. There's the one over there executing exactly what I want. And they become leaders. And then from there, you just become it's just leaders and systems and everything put into place.
But how do you keep Miguel happy?
Many different ways, Miguel. I mean, so one of the things is okay, when that comes to the leadership question, okay? When you're working for somebody, it's not fair as you as a CEO, you get everything nice. The
Right.
nice car, the nice jets, and you're traveling, all that kind of stuff, right? But it's when you want to see your team growing, that's when you're going as well too. And he's going to stay loyal to me. If I'm taking care of him, his personal, professional, financial goals,
Yep.
you think he's not going to be loyal to me?
100%.
He told me when we first joined, brother, I want to get a Porsche. And we made it happen, So I want to get a Porsche, and then it's my job to put more stuff on him to keep it growing, and so he can produce more income. Then he said, now his next goal is to get a house for his son, and then have it the way he wants it. So now we're helping him, helping him strategically grow the wealth that he wants to, and with all of our companies investing, all kind of stuff. So I'm putting more plate on him so he can do that. Does that make sense?
Smart.
And then from there, when you're a CEO, you want to make sure that your mission and your vision is always just you're the one that pushing the shit out of every single day. You as a CEO, you have to be the strongest guy. You're not supposed to be nimble. You're not supposed to be weak. You have to be the alpha guy standing up for everybody else. Does that make sense?
Well said.
And then so there will be times where you feel like shit, you feel down and all kind of stuff, but that's when you got to recollect yourself. And then like Miguel comes to you like, bro, you okay? Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to make sure you're okay. That's when you know you have a good leadership team.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I think one of the biggest things too is seeing, that, right? It starts to waterfall. So like, for instance, like how I was saying with this, the Eric, right? Just turned 18.
Mhm.
So there's Eric, and then there's, a couple other guys. The same approach that he took with me is the same approach I'm going to take to him. Right. Because that can start to waterfall. And then that starts to build a bigger team. And one of the biggest things that I remember, and I told these guys the same exact thing. I told him, hey, I'm going to quit my job. And he said, bro, you quit your job, you give me your 100%, I will give you my 200%. And that's one of the things that stuck with me the most out of everything. And again, being able to pass that on to other guys as well. Something as easy as like, I want a new car, or something as big as like, hey, I want to retire my dad by next year. Okay, well, let's make that shit happen. This is what we got to do. But again, just like how he was saying, you got to start putting things onto those people's plate in order to see how much they're able to handle and how much they're able to produce. Right. Like, for instance, if he had to do the sounds, the visuals, and everything like that, he might not be able to. But if he has another person, and then say, for instance, say you guys wanted to have another production, say in Las Vegas, right? You guys can have another podcast studio. He's able to teach the next person, the next person, the next person. You're able to build more. You're able to bang more of these podcasts out. You're able to have more guests. You're able to expand. And ultimately, that's the biggest goal. Like I was saying earlier, strength in numbers.
All right. That's good stuff. Are we the last ones here? Or that's it for chats? All right. So you guys have an event coming up in August, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What's the event?
So it's called the Domination Conference. We have about 2,000 business owners coming in there. We have Robert Harvardchuk from the Shark Tank and Kevin Harrington too. We're doing a segment for 1 hour. From that one, it's called In the Tank with the Sharks. And the reason for we're doing that is just like the question you asked me, like how do you scale your business? Rather than us asking questions, we're opening up to the floor. Where if you were to walk into the show of Shark Tank, is what questions and how do you set your company properly so you can get your VC money, PE money, investors, and all kinds of jazz. And I feel like they've never done that. So it's more like a Q&A panel, because personally, I want to know too. It's like, what am I missing? How are these guys doing all this kind of stuff? What am I missing as well? So we're opening up that. And then we have Bedros Cooley. He's a good friend of mine as well. And we're doing a lot of things together with men, You're familiar with what is the project called? MDK or something like that project. It's about men, what they do. I think you guys, you should have Bedros in here, man. I think you guys will love him. And what he's doing is basically, and this is the reason why I love Bedros. One, he's humble. Number two, he's preaching what you guys are preaching, how to men to be alpha men. So he puts in 1 week and teaches them business, finance, but then he puts them in the trenches of, the army training stuff in the mud, cold plunge and all kinds of, he's doing that. And then he created another program for father and sons to do that. It's fucking badass, bro. Imagine. So I have a 5-year-old son. I can't wait until my son's like 13, 14, so I can take him in there too. It's a bonding thing, but then also we're setting our kids that proper of how to be real men. Hardcore shit. And I feel like they're not doing that stuff. And school obviously doesn't teach that, and then social media, when you got like somebody was asking me, how do you determine where your society is going? It's through entertainment. Look who our entertainment is. You really want like a person like Cardi B to be a public figure?
Yeah.
Like realistically, right?
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. She's the one that I feel like OnlyFans and all that kind of stuff like you guys talk about. She's the one that's really pumping that shit up. It's some of the stuff in this world. I mean, it makes no sense. You can be 13 years old. You can chop off your genitals, but you have to be 21 to fucking drive. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
The other day I took my son to a derby thing. The girls that were driving the cars, they're smashing into each other's cars doing the thing. He was having a blast. But the girls were 16 years old. They're not even legally able to drive on the streets, but they can do this derby thing, which is 10 times more dangerous. It makes zero sense to me. But yeah, Bedros Cooley's gonna be there. Ed Milet, he's a great guy when it comes to personal development, leadership. Yeah, I'm really excited to have him on stage, ask him a question. So everything we're doing is nothing motivational. It's more some of the questions I want to ask. And then we're doing a lot of case studies. I'm a big fan of case studies. If you have a company who's doing $8 million and you want to get into 3 new states and you're getting a contract with $6 million, now your revenue has increased to $14 million. But your COO, your operator says, dude, we can't even fulfill our current orders. How are we going to fulfill our new orders? How do you navigate those conversations? You know, what do you do at this point? Do you pause? Do you not go to the market? Do you go to the market? Like, what do you do? You know, so yeah, we'll be doing a lot of stuff like that. It's one of those. And then on top of that, my business is not to make money off the tickets. My business is not to upsell anybody. My business is more about finding more companies out there that I can partner up with.
Right.
You know, so we can integrate. And we've done that in Cabo. Last year in August, we threw an event in Cabo. And we had about 400 people in there.
Yeah.
And we started 5 new companies just based off of that. And it was a way higher ROI than anything else.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really good stuff. Yeah. That's why we're doing another big one this time, too.
So when's the event?
August 7th, 8th, 9th at the Fontainebleau.
Here in Miami.
Correct.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Might pop in.
It's a nice
Yeah.
venue.
Yeah,
Dude,
right there on
really
the
nice.
beach.
Yeah. Right there on the beach. Nice. You'll get a vacation out of it, too. You get to learn business, bring your kids. They can do all the pool stuff while you learn and all that kind of jazz. Yeah.
You know who owns Fontainebleau, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. All right, cool. So this was going to be an awesome Money Monday.
Yeah.
A lot of value here. So where can I find you, brother?
You can find me on Instagram at Amrinder X Pro. I think you guys put it in the chat.
Yep.
Yeah, should
And
be
then
Down
I
below?
think they put it in the link as well, too, for the event.
For the
as well.
event.
Yeah.
Down below. And Miguel?
And then mine's going to be M Barbosa 209. Same thing. It's going to be up there in the Discord.
All right. So, guys, we got after hours coming up in about
yeah,
hour
what's
and a
up?
half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go at like 10:30, 11ish, right?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Guys, we'll be back with after hours. Yeah. While you guys wait, go ahead and jump on my stream on Myron Gaines X. I went ahead and covered the interview that they did with your boy Netanyahu, the Elk Boys. So that was kind of funny. I had to talk with them earlier today. So yeah, go check it out if you guys want to burn some time for the next hour and a half. Myron Gaines X. We'll check you guys out. Stay tuned. We're going to be back with after hours in about an hour and a half, guys. Later.
Peace.